So
pre-show. There you go.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Every show now obligated to start with Dr. Nick.
From The Simpsons?
That's correct. Yes.
Wasn't allowed to watch.
You watched that show
growing up? No, I wasn't allowed
really?
to. Yeah.
What was the conflict with The Simpsons?
You'd have to ask my father. I don't know. We weren't allowed to watch it, so very strict.
What were your staple shows growing up as a kid?
TGIF, right? Like so, Boy Meets World, Family Matters, Step by Step.
Is that a network? TGIF?
No, it was like a series of sitcoms that came on every Friday. Like it's literally called TGIF, and you know it was like 4 sitcoms in a row. You watched them every Friday.
I don't know if I believe you.
Okay, look it up. Don't know what to tell you.
Never heard of this. Never heard of this.
We had very different childhoods as it relates to what we watched on TV. So, but yeah.
Hi, Chris.
Yep, there we go. Thank you, Charles. Appreciate
Hello.
you.
How we doing, everybody?
We're just talking about what our favorite shows were growing up as kids.
Oh, what age group?
I don't know, Joe. When was TGIF a thing?
I mean, when I was growing up, I guess from I don't know 90 to 98 or something. I'm sure.
Because like as a super little kid, like I'm talking like 5 and under, like Blue's Clues was my jam.
Oh yeah, that
but,
was.
But I don't know if that's the kind of
after.
age range.
No, it's not at all actually. But yeah, I appreciate the input.
Martin, Fresh Prince, Living Color. Yep, that's another. They switch the shows sometimes. So my favorites were like Step by Step and Family Matters, Fresh Prince, Boy Meets World. Are You Afraid of the Dark? Yeah, that was one.
Keenan and Kel. There you go. That now you're speaking my language,
yeah,
Brady.
That wasn't me.
What about All That? You ever watch All That?
Oh, All That's a great.
Oh, that.
It was SNL. It was SNL for kids, right?
All that. There you go.
Yeah.
Good job, Joe.
Yeah,
Drake
I was in on SpongeBob a little bit.
Yeah, Drake and Josh and SpongeBob are both good options.
Those were like after me.
You guys are just a little bit older for that.
I'm 32.
I am older than that. 30.
And I'm 26.
Yes, Mad TV was super slept on.
I disagree.
You ever watch Mad TV?
It's okay. It was okay.
What about the guy who played Arnold? What about Stewart? You remember these skits?
These are all these.
Look what I can do.
Yeah, these are great. Yep.
Oh, I liked Hey Arnold, Braden. I was a fan of that. Football head.
Wow, we got a Pokemon reference. We talked about Pokemon at the end of Friday's episode of the podcast.
Yu-Gi-Oh was my jam as a kid.
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, I was a big Yu-Gi-Oh kid.
If anybody watched Digimon, just
Digimon Digital Monsters. Oh,
let us know and then leave the stream.
No, what? Wait, it was. Come on, it was no. I mean, it was no Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon, but it was still good.
Anybody with cat dog?
Cat dog. Yeah, cat dog.
Cat dog.
What about our Courage? No, not Courage the Cowardly. I'm thinking of Rocco's Modern Life.
Oh, another fantastic show. Yeah, that was a good one.
I just loved the turtle. I don't remember his name. He goes, turn the page, wash your hands. Turn the page, wash your hands.
What else? So there was one that
was it Filbert?
I don't remember its name.
Dexter's Laboratory is another good one.
Yeah, see, these are like the shows my brother watched.
Didi, you idiot.
Yeah.
Ren and Stimpy?
Yeah, I did Ren and Stimpy. I did.
What about Happy Joy Joy?
Idiot.
Oh, that was pretty good.
I got a few.
All right, you guys ready to do this?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes here on the Draft Dudes live stream. It's Thursday night. We're having fun. It's Kyle's birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Kyle. Yay.
I've got a
Mighty Swell.
Yep. Blood Orange. Never had this, but I have very much cannot wait to try it. The first sip.
Stepped all over the cracking of the can too. It was an interesting decision.
Oh man, no, these are legit good.
Yeah, these are great summertime flavors.
Yeah. And we did a bunch of work out on our patio, like chairs and furniture and stuff. And so we've been enjoying some seltzers out there, but I saved the blood orange for the show. So I want to give my first sip in that way. And it is delicious. Digging the pineapple's wonderful. The mango, it's at the mango raspberry. That's one in the hopper I got to try next time. So, and there's grapefruit as well.
Can we continue a conversation that we had on the podcast that everybody will hear tomorrow? But I just want to finish it here real quick. Can we continue to go through these Washington football team names that we have?
Yeah, let's talk about the short list or crowdsourced name for the Washington football team that they sent out. You said season ticket holders got this list?
Yeah, a survey. They surveyed season ticket holders about potential new names. A survey sent out Wednesday night included at least 35 names. Fans were asked to rank their 2 favorite and least favorite options, though each fan only received a subset of the names. This is from the Richmond Times-Dispatch, is where I'm reading this from. So yeah, that Braden, that's what the internet tells me, and the internet would never lie. So,
right.
We mentioned the Washington Aces, the Washington Ambassadors. Do we like the Washington Aviators? Do we like that one? We don't like that one.
I like it better than about half of the ones you've already read, though.
Right. It's not the worst.
The Washington Griffins.
No.
What is that?
The Washington Guardians, the Washington Iconics, the Washington Majors, the Washington Monarchs.
Iconics?
Oh, I'm sorry, the Washington Icons. Sorry.
Bad.
As if it's much better. See, Joe, you're in the minority on this one.
No, you're in the minority. That's 3-1 in favor of DCFC.
This one is good. Like that. That's a very good one. The Washington. We read all the like the Washington Royals, the Washington Rising, the Washington Riders, the Washington Rubies, the Washington Swifts, the Washington Warriors, the Washington Wayfarers, the Washington 32 FC is another one that I've seen. I don't like that one as much as some of the other ones, but yeah, they're crowdsourcing these names.
What about the Washington Mighty Swells?
Oh, clearly,
okay.
But
that would be our top one. Yeah.
My top 3 are the Armada, the Red Wolves, and the Red Tails.
Those are the correct final 3.
Whoa.
DC, even above DCFC.
No, the Washington DC Football Club I think has to be in the mix. I think that one needs to be part of the discussion.
I'm a big fan of the Armada.
The Armada is not a bad one.
I would love to see
the Armada is not a bad one. So, okay. Takes Would You Rathers, Kyle's birthday extravaganza. That is what we are doing here.
I have a Would You Rather for Kyle.
Go right ahead then, my friend.
Wow, he came in loaded. Okay.
Yeah, I said I had this on.
Now, and by the way, I just want to make one thing clear. You said you were going to check with me on this. You were going to ask me about this. This has not been cleared. So
it's not that big of a deal. I decided that I was just going to go for it. Kyle, would you rather me understand all of your pop culture references and movie references moving forward? Like, legitimately, I know what they are. We vibe with that, okay? Or would you rather me love the Miami Dolphins like you do? You can only have one or the other. But from this moment forward, and it's like retroactively too, it's not like I was ever a Bills fan, that like we had the same pop culture background or the same football rooting interest.
This is tough because like we vibe as well as we do despite not having either one.
Yeah.
So it's like not having one of the others not make or break. I'm going to say the pop culture references, and the reason being because if we both love the Dolphins to the same degree, this would probably be a Dolphins draft podcast, and we would co-host Locked On Dolphins. And that's it.
Yeah. All right. I like that. That's fair.
This is a good take.
No.
This is a good take. This is a very good take.
Okay. Hey, if cheesecake is a cake, like get out of here with that, because cheesecake is the number one cake.
Joe,
I've never eaten a piece of cheesecake and felt glad that I ate it afterwards.
Yeah, Joe, can you get closer to your headphones for a second? Cheesecake's not that good.
Oh no.
I feel ill after I eat. It's too
Yeah,
thick.
cheesecake. Yeah, cheesecake's not very
What
good.
are you talking about? It's like the lightest cake there is.
Now,
It's the lightest cake there is, you say.
Yeah.
now, I would like to attempt to make an exception because red velvet cake is really good. And that's not an
Yes,
ice
it
cream
is.
cake.
And so there are multiple good cakes.
Yeah, I don't think I can get behind.
Ice cream cake, I think, is the number
Ice
one
cream
cake.
cake.
I think it's the top if we were doing a big board. But I think I'm walking back my original thought that this was a take I agree with.
Pie is better than cake. Please continue.
Now wait a minute. I don't like that. I don't like that take at all. No. There was one for me here. Would you rather become a lifelong Dolphins fan or a lifelong Bills fan?
Who would you rather not have to hate?
I know, but I think I've answered this question before, and my sister is a Bills fan, so that's what I would be. I would be a Bills fan with my sister.
Cool.
She's also a fan. I have family ties to
Didn't
her
she
being
have like a friend or something on the team, or maybe?
No, it was the first football. I think the way that the story goes is it was the first football game she had ever been to when she was up at college, up way up north in upstate New York, near the Canadian border, and she went to a Bills game and she was hooked. She was like, the Bills are my team, and so that's her team. So that's probably the easy place that I would go to from there.
That's the plan with my wife. I'm getting her to a Bills game this year, and I think the conversion can happen. I think.
You think?
Yeah, I think.
Another good point. Chocolate lava cake is a thing too.
There were some good football takes at the beginning, and now they've magically disappeared in the comments.
Yeah, well, there's a
I was sitting here
going on.
scrolling, looking for. We had a couple takes that I was like, that's an interesting.
Rondell Moore falls to day 3.
Here, Kyle, do you want to have my approval maraca for this?
Yeah, go ahead, hand it on here. No, I don't know if that's reality. I think there's a reasonable chance this happens. Did you see Marcus from Mock Draftable put the pro day numbers into the database this year?
Okay. No, I didn't see that. I like his work. It's fun. Yeah.
Yes. Marcus from mockdraftable.com is phenomenal. So let me pull up the Rondale Moore Mock Draftable. And we're going to share our screen.
Kyle, you have the power. You do whatever you want, my friend.
I'm planning on doing that.
Make sure your tabs are good. You don't want to expose
No, I'm good. I'm good. All right, so we're gonna share our screen.
Yep, we'll see how well this
Chrome
goes.
tab.
That's
Rondale Moore.
Yep.
Boom.
Look at this.
Look at this.
That's a half a cake.
That's a half a slice. That's a half a full cake. Yeah, somebody ate the other half. These comps are interesting.
Thanks for letting me know that those are in there because this.
Look at this. Look at this. Now look at this. Right, that's the TikTok thing that's going on right now.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know that, but
no.
No, of course you don't.
Can you click on Elijah Moore when you're done?
You want to look at Elijah Moore's?
Well, he's in the comps to the left there.
No, I know where he's at. I'm just confirming you want to see it.
I do, yeah. Okay. Okay.
There's some decent comps in here. Greg Jennings and Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah.
It's okay. But yes, this is all, and he put the asterisk on it that the measurement came from somewhere other than the NFL Combine.
Yeah.
But this is one of my favorite tools to use each and every year. So make sure you swing over to mockdraftable.com. You can poke in, you can look at advanced search, you can look at just this year and sort guys. I was looking at offensive linemen by their standing broad jump times because that's something the Dolphins care about. You can sort it by anything you want. So.
Chris, can you toss up Mitchell Lang 742?
Sure, I could do that. Is this the one that you're referencing?
Yes, please. Tommy Togiai, defensive tackle, Ohio State, going 33 to the Jags makes too much sense. I see why he put this up here. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars have a need at interior defensive line, especially after the Tyson Alualu deal fell through. I think Togiai is like a high football character guy, the Ohio State connection. If that winds up being the case, I think this is going to really set the tone for a ridiculous amount of like former Urban players becoming Jaguars, like Steve Spurrier 2.0 situation. And part of me, like if I'm Urban, I might fight hard against that. Come on. He's still there. Well, nothing's happened to him. He's a Jacksonville Jaguar. I just think it's a little rich, right? 33.
I guess we'll never know.
You'll never know. We'll never know what you want to say.
I do agree that 33 is a little rich for Tommy Togiai.
He's just going to come back and be mid-sentence, and it's going to be
probably
very funny.
That's okay. He's thinking about coming back.
While that's happening,
welcome back.
I will put up. Do you want to finish your thought there, Joe? Before
we
moved on.
33 is too high for Togiai, right?
Yes.
Okay.
This one from Halil's Real Football Talk, continuing the safety conversation from earlier this week. If Ardarius Washington was 6 foot 200 pounds, he would be a first-round pick.
He'd certainly have a lot better chance than he does now. I liked Ardarius' tape a lot. I think that size with his demeanor and play style would certainly help the cause. First round, I might still sell, but like a top 50 guy.
Sure, yeah, with you.
Take the Giants will walk out of day one with Jalen Waddle, Devonta Smith, and Azeez Ojulari.
So we're expecting the Giants to trade up and draft Ojulari. So that's the first part of this. Will Azeez Ojulari fall into the late 20s for the Giants to strike?
Don't you have a hard time predicting his landing spot? Like what range? Because you could tell me it's 11. You could tell me it's 20. You could tell me it's late 20s. And we've seen Dave Gettleman willing to do this, right? To move back up into the first round to get guys.
He did this with another Georgia defender 3 years ago with DeAndre Baker.
Mm-hmm. He won't move back, but he will move up.
All right, Joe. Sorry. Go ahead, Kyle.
I was just going to say, I think that's a reasonable, it's not an outlandish statement to make for a team that's all in, should be all in. The pressure's on. Guys got to go out and win.
Joe, are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
This is for you. So I pass it over to you, my friend.
Oh, boy. Trevor. Can you read it? Oh, Fufara.
Fufara.
I've heard that. I don't know what it means.
Because of the Fufara around his body composition, Devonta Smith will fall into the back half of round one, but be a better wide receiver in year one than both Jamar Chase and Jalen Waddle. # new vocabulary for Joe.
I always thought Fufara was onomatopoeia. You know, like I didn't know it was an actual word. You know? Isn't onomatopoeia like an expression?
You don't know what Fufara is, but you know what an onomatopoeia is.
Yeah, because there was actually like moments in English class in high school and middle school where you learned what onomatopoeia was. But Fufara, I just thought it was like an expression. I didn't know it was an actual English word.
Do you have an attempt at the definition? Listen, the chat, don't help Joe. Joe's got to figure this out on his own.
Anyway.
Oh, no, Kyle said fuss, and I was like, that was in my mind, like some type of uproar, or like
what was the word I used?
You said fuss was the word you said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you did use the word fuss, yes.
Kyle's highly educated. I have high expectations for Kyle to know things, right? Penn State grad over here.
And the definition
is a great deal
of fuss.
Yep.
Or attention given to a minor matter.
I'm going to be using Fufara way too much coming up here.
Trevor, I want to know if you know these things or you look them up to try and find.
Like he's got a calendar.
Well,
like word of the day.
Yeah, it's just tear the page off. Got a new word for the day. Try and find an excuse to use it.
Without giving too much away, Kyle, you know the conversations that are being had with Trevor, right? You are privy to these.
Okay. He DM'd me as well. But Trevor, we want you to know that your DMs have been discussed and or deliberating.
It is, and it is being worked on. Do we want to answer the take? I know we get so lost into the word, but
there was a take here. I thought it was just a word.
No, there was a take here surrounding the word. Yes. So because of the Fufara around his body composition, Devonta Smith will fall into the back half of round one, but be a better wide receiver in year one than both Jamar Chase and Jalen Waddle.
I don't know if any of this is going to be true. I think Devonta Smith's going to go in the top half of the first round. And I think Jamar Chase and Jalen Waddle will be better players in year one. So I don't agree with any of it.
He says there's a backlog of words.
Very impressive. I look forward to exhausting that backlog.
Yes, very much so. This one from Mitchell. The reason why Wyatt Davis got an invite to the NFL draft is because the Jets are drafting him with 23.
Spoiler, I'm on Locked On Jets tomorrow with their host, John Butchko. We talked about interior offensive line at 23, and it should not be in play at 23. It just can't be.
Is there an interior offensive lineman that you would put in play for the Jets?
No, not when you have the needs they do at edge and corner and receiver. Like, you just can't be talking about an interior offensive line.
You forgot running back.
Also, right there with interior offensive line is things they shouldn't.
Let's get ready to push you over the edge.
At least one of the draft dudes is more athletic than at least one active NFL player.
Who's the least athletic NFL offensive player or NFL player? Because that's going to determine. I could tell you I can run a faster 40 than Tom Brady did. That was 3 years ago.
Yeah, we need to define what more athletic means.
Like, yeah, there's probably a test that we could do that would be better than at least one player, but like the entire like athletic profile will not collectively be better.
You don't think somebody here is more athletic than like some kicker? I feel like it would have to be a small guy that's unathletic, like a kicker or a punter, right? Because even the nose tackles, the big guys, they are still going to be disproportionately more athletic for their size adjustment. Because
kickers are people too. Sorry, I just wanted to make it clear.
Can we start the hashtag talking about special teams to get Pat McAfee to unblock me on Twitter?
What did you do to get blocked by Pat McAfee?
I have no definitive answer to this question.
But you have anecdotal evidence that makes you think that you know?
I have a belief that about 5 years ago, I was in a big kick when college coaches decided to trot their kickers out to try 49-yard field goals as double-digit underdogs while winning 10-7, facing 4th and 2. Instead of just going for it on 4th down and trying to get the first down, kicking a field goal that has probably an 8% chance of being converted for 3 points. When you need touchdowns to win the game anyway, I use the hashtag field goals are for losers every time they miss one of those kicks. And I probably broke it out like 25 times that college season.
You had me until the hashtag.
Well, and I'm not saying special teams don't matter. I'm not saying you shouldn't kick field goals. But in those situations, as a college coach, to understand we're on the road, we're double-digit underdogs, we're playing the number 3 team in the country, it's 4th and 2, we have a little bit of momentum, it's a 49-yard field goal, don't kick the field goal. When's the last time you remember one of those kids ever making that kick? Genuine question.
No, it's a reasonable take. I just didn't know if you knew what was going on. So
I don't have the confirmation of why I was blocked.
Did you say something bad about his alma mater? Because I would block you too if you did.
Oh, Kyle likes West Virginia.
I got a West Virginia helmet in.
Listen, I'm just making sure.
That's a West Virginia helmet right there.
I'm just considering things. Helmet. I'm just considering things. Okay, that's all.
I recently listened to Pat McAfee respond to this idea that you should be awarded 1 point if on a kickoff
you kick it through the uprights.
Through the uprights.
Big fan of this.
I like this.
So what's the consequence if you don't? That would be would it be a touchback to like the 30 or 35?
I was going to say better field position for the opposing team. Would you have to declare your intention to do it?
Yes, you have to make a motion to the ref of and call your shot. I'm going for it. I'm going for it on this one. And then if you don't go for it, it doesn't matter what happens. It's a normal set of rules.
So I think there's a fun factor that I like. I guess my question or apprehension is, do we really want to make kicking a bigger part of football games?
Well, I would argue that it's been completely marginalized because of the new kickoff rules. It has no impact other than just kicking field goals.
You see what you did?
The kickoff and the kickoff return used to be a really prominent part of games, right? Like, think about the impact that Devin Hester used to have on the game of football.
Yeah.
What impact does Devin Hester have if he's playing today with the kickoff rules that there's no wedges, everybody has to start from standstill at the kick on the line? It's so greatly reduced that finding some way to make it matter when it used to matter a ton is at least something I think should be explored.
Right, but you have to remember why we've moved to a place in which those positions are not a thing anymore, and it's safety.
Well, so
it's going to be really tough to undo that box.
So making it worth a point if you call your shot, and if you don't, then you give up an extra 10 yards in field position. That's at no risk to player safety.
So Kyle, you and I think Miami does this. I know that the Bills do this. They purposely don't kick touchbacks because they feel like they can tackle you inside the 25. I think the Bills average like 18 yards allowed per kick return. And so like usually they would the other team would start around the 18, 19, 20 yard line instead of the 25. Like if you can cover kicks, it's an advantage for you.
You ever see that clip of Bill Belichick when he did that? They're in the midst of a game and he was mic'd up on the sideline. He says, make him run it back.
Yeah.
So they kicked it like 2 yards short of the end zone. They forced a fumble on that play and recovered the fumble and got it at like the 20-yard line.
Yeah, you got
and it's just like,
later, man.
Dude, how do you freaking know? Like, that's why Bill's Bill. But like, it was just incredible to hear him like say on the microphone, yeah, make him run it back this time. And they forced a turnover on that play.
Which I think a lot of teams do, right? Like, I mean,
yeah,
that's obviously a great example, but like, sure, if you think you can cover the damn kick, like, don't give him a free 5 or 7 yards.
Right.
Would you rather Nick Bolton in the second round or Buddy Johnson in the 5th round?
Bolton.
Probably Nick Bolton. I like my comp for him.
Who is it?
John Bostic.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. John's been starting for a long time.
Right. He bounced around. He might not be a 3-down backer that's really dynamic, but he plays. So
All right, this take's a little funny. Take via Keith's crazy friend. If the Packers draft Kadarius Toney, he'll be the second best passer.
You're wrong for this.
Yeah, that's super disrespectful to Jordan Love, right?
I know, but that's why we're putting it up here.
I appreciate the humor, but I'm selling. I'm all the way out. And for that reason, I'm out.
And for that reason, I'm out. Would you rather draft a fringe Pro Bowler at your weakest position or an All-Pro at the same position as your best player?
Would you rather draft a fringe Pro Bowler at your weakest position?
This goes back to the conversation we had in the podcast that you're going to listen to tomorrow.
About the offensive line?
Yeah, you should take the fringe Pro Bowler at the weakest position. I mean, assuming it's not like kicker or something,
Doesn't it depend on what position groups we're talking about?
I think so, but I mean, talk about a regular every down player for offense or defense. Guard, safety, linebacker, defensive tackle.
Draft dudes do math. There will be more offensive tackles taken in the first round than wide receivers. I feel like we've done this before, but
I think we have too.
I do like to do periodic check-ins on these kinds of takes.
I think it's wide receiver.
Did you see I think it was Mike Garafolo said he expects that Rashad Bateman would be there for the Eagles in the second round.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so those guys like Terrace Marshall, Rashad Bateman, Elijah Moore, Kadarius Toney, like that group of receiver.
I feel like Moore's in.
You do.
Moore feels like he's in based on like the buzz from Big Draft.
Yes. Of all those 4 receivers, you think Elijah Moore has the best chance of being picked in the first round?
Either Toney or Moore.
Really, over Bateman or Marshall?
I mean, Bateman does not seem to have the same fanfare from what we've heard from inside, which is crazy to me.
Could you imagine if like Philly comes away with J.C. Horn and Rashad Bateman and just didn't even have to move?
Howie would never.
Sure, that's the big problem in the way of that happening. But if that was available to them, that'd be a killer 1-2 pair.
I'll very quickly answer this one because this one is for me. For the Jets this year, would you rather Tua or Justin Fields? I would rather have Justin Fields. And we will move on to the next take from Mitchell. London and St. Louis will both have NFL teams by the end of this decade.
I don't know if London will. I read an article by somebody, in the know, a big name guy was covering the idea of the NFL expanding to having a franchise. And I don't think that's going to be the case. I think they're going to be more willing to play games, throughout the globe, but I don't know that there's going to be a permanently based team in London. And St. Louis, I mean, I think there's a lot of markets the NFL would want to be in before St. Louis, to be honest with you. It's not a very big market.
We've talked about on this show, at least a live stream, about NFL expansion and where they might go next. And I don't think either of those two cities are at the top of the list. I think it's really tough to go back to St. Louis with the way things ended.
Yeah.
And I still don't think they have solved what the scheduling mechanism and the timing mechanism would look like to have a team that played in London. I just don't think they have the logistics work out yet to a place where they're comfortable.
I think there's
to
more
a roster.
I think there's more incremental league expansion that needs to happen from like a scheduling perspective and volume before you start getting into adding more teams. We talked about that when the news came through of 17 games. Like, okay, it's just a matter of time before it becomes 18 games, right? Because like you want to play an odd amount of games. Like, is there? I mean, what? And does any other league play an odd amount of games?
Let me think. Hockey plays 81, and the NBA
NBA plays 82.
82, and hockey is 81.
Did
Why
you
do I
ever
feel that that's wrong, though?
Did you ever hear the Thad Castle quote about hockey players?
No.
Do you know who Thad Castle is?
No.
Then I'm not going to waste my breath. Sorry. We'll do it another time when you educate yourself.
And they play 82. I knew.
Hockey
does
NBA is the same.
So yeah, they both play 82.
Everybody
games.
else plays an even amount of games.
So let's go back to 16.
Right. We've been doing it for a long time now. I don't hate kickers.
What about hockey?
You're talking to the same guy that said it. I said this last summer, and it aged poorly because Justin missed all those field goals in the playoffs against the Bills.
Yes.
But I said I would use like a 3rd round pick to trade for Justin Tucker.
You did.
Because he's that good.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, and of course the playoff game notwithstanding. But it was like you move past the 40 and you got points automatically.
The Dolphins craze. I don't know if you're joking or not, but there's no way that this would ever be the approach that the NFL would take for this.
I don't even think that's fair to the teams that have to go there and play.
No, it isn't, and that's why that's why it would never work that way. It is very difficult to make a London team fair and equitable to both the team that is being played, that the team that is in London, and the teams that need to travel to London to play.
And what if they got home field advantage throughout the playoffs? I mean, that's ridiculously
so
unfair.
That's why you need to expand the number of games played so that you can then add more bye weeks and you can be much more incremental. Like if there's 3 separate bye weeks, you can chop it up into 4 separate blocks. So you could do a small digestible size in London, take a month-long road trip, come back for a month. At least it's not half the season.
What's the apprehension to not having more bye weeks now? Like they added 17 games. What a perfect opportunity to give you that extra bye week.
I think this is the answer. I think this is where the next team goes.
Mexico's genuine question: do you feel Mexico City has the market to take on an NFL team? I don't know what the league interest is in Mexico.
I mean,
it's growing. Germany growing. And Mexico are the two like biggest growing markets outside of England and United States.
And the one game that gets played there, which they've done the last couple of years, and I know they didn't do it last year because of the pandemic, but they sell that building out very quickly. The field's a concern
because it's once a year. You know what I mean?
I mean, that probably helps.
Yeah, that helps. But you don't you think they wouldn't be able to sell out 8 times a year?
I don't know. I can tell you
9 if you had the extra game.
They play exhibition friendlies in Charlotte at Bank of America Stadium, and I'm interested in going, but if they were there all the time, I don't know that I would, I wouldn't have the same allure to me.
This is another one. And Sam, I know you said you were joking, but I actually think the NFL is considering Mexico City as one of the teams.
The Bills legitimately played a game in Toronto every single year for like a 4 or 5 year stretch, and it was a joke. Nobody cared. Nobody went. Like the actual somewhat local team to Toronto.
It's still not their team, though.
Regionally, it absolutely is. They couldn't sell that game out at a baseball stadium.
I will say the NFL has a very interesting, and I won't say it's difficult, but they have a very interesting decision on their hands in choosing where they want to expand to. Just because I think internationally there aren't a lot of great options, and domestically inside the United States, I'm not sure if there's any big time cities that.
San Antonio.
Portland,
yeah, San Antonio.
mean, those are two that I think immediately jump to mind. But you're gonna put another team in Texas.
No, so that's what I love the idea of bringing it to like somewhat big, small market areas that don't have pro sports. Like, I feel bad for Seattle for losing the Supersonics, but to see somewhere like
they're getting them back. So
sure, but like Oklahoma City, like a state that didn't really have any pro sports, I was like, that's got to be super cool for them.
Columbus is not a bad one.
Yeah,
that's
isn't that like the Mecca?
I saw somebody
football?
said Birmingham.
Yeah, that'd be wild down there.
That would be interesting.
Deep
yeah.
South, you know?
Yeah,
I mean,
that would be.
We know how religious they are about their football down there as is, let alone.
Yeah, but here's what I would wonder. That's a really good one. So I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. This is ACC basketball country. And they love ACC basketball. They don't love the Hornets. They love ACC basketball. You know what I mean? So I wonder if it's one of those types of deals where it's always going to be the step brother to, Auburn and Alabama.
I mean, Albuquerque is probably a city that's going to be on a short list. It's a fascinating conversation because I don't think there's an easy answer that just immediately jumps off the page. Because the NFL has a lot of the major cities and big markets capitalized.
Which city that recently lost a team is the most likely to get one back?
San Diego.
Yeah, San Diego. I mean, from a market standpoint, it's like, how did it not work? Like, why is there not a team there?
Yeah.
Who else is in St. Louis is in contention? Oakland.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the three.
Yeah.
What's more likely to happen? A team moves next or there's an expansion?
We kind of did all the moving, right?
Jacksonville's always out there.
Right. I mean, they're constantly teased as a team potential move.
But other than them, is there another team that immediately jumps to mind that will move?
I think we've resolved a lot of them.
Right. Any of the other ones that were, I think, going to be a consideration just moved.
Yeah.
So it's Jacksonville or nothing. So I think I would lean more towards a new team via expansion than a team relocating. But that's just me. I don't know how we got into this very long form conversation. Here we are.
Clinton Sims has an interesting take here.
Okay. Maybe this is the one we close the show on.
Back on the rails. That's terrific.
Like the growing thought that no running back should be drafted in the first, no quarterback should be drafted unless they are thought to be legitimate starters. XFL and CFL being backup quarterback farm systems.
Joe, your thoughts?
I don't get the connection here. The running back thing's not really about anything other than value, right? Like, they're good players, but just the value, the ability to get talented backs later, all that type of stuff. The quarterback thing, I don't understand how these two things work together in concert.
I did look at something, and it's more so about a running back getting drafted in the first round. So obviously we have the rookie wage scale now, right? And that has helped to prevent this ballooning of rookie contracts across the league. But Joe, what I looked at was the cash that would be due. And I did it just specifically with the 18th pick. Can't imagine why I would have chosen that pick to use it as an example here. But I took the 18th pick and I looked at how much cash would this player get in 2021 and where would that rank among NFL players at each respective position. So I'm going to tell you the number, and I want you to tell me what ranking you think it is in various positions, okay? So this is not cap hit. This is not cap due. This is not base salary. This is base salary plus signing bonus, cash due to the player in 2021, okay?
Okay.
The projected signing bonus, according to Over the Cap, is $7.55 million with a base salary of $660,000, grand total of $8.22 million.
So what position do I think that is?
What ranking at quarterback, running back, wide receiver, whatever, do you think that is?
I would think that's pretty high.
In new cash?
Yeah, I would say high. That'd be top 3 for sure.
Top 3 in what? What amongst quarterbacks in the NFL, that $8.22 million is what?
Oh, amongst all the quarterbacks already in the NFL.
Yes.
Oh, gosh. 30th.
20th.
Oh, wow.
It's
Okay.
directly behind Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's due just over $10 million this year.
Okay.
Now, what new cash ranking is that amongst all running backs in the NFL in 2021?
13th.
5th.
So you draft a running back at 18. He's the 5th highest player.
He has the 5th highest amount of cash due to him amongst all players at that position in 2021.
Does that help the argument? I don't think it does.
No, I don't think so.
Right. That's not good.
So, I mean, obviously you prorate the signing bonus or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like $50K behind Christian McCaffrey's cash this year. Obviously, he signed the big contract. He got the big signing bonus last year or whenever he signed that deal. But it was just a really eye-opening exercise. So it was 20th amongst quarterbacks, 5th amongst running backs, just behind Christian McCaffrey, 30th amongst wide receivers, 6th amongst tight ends, 27th amongst offensive tackles, 15th amongst guards, 8th amongst centers, 37th amongst defensive ends, 17th amongst defensive tackles, 25th amongst linebackers, 21st amongst corners, and 16th amongst safeties.
I love that perspective to look at it. So I'll have to do that.
It's
for the 30th pick. Yeah.
Your year one investment.
Yeah, I like that.
How much cash does that player get relative to the rest of the league at that position?
Really cool way to look at it.
So
I think that's it, gentlemen.
that's all she wrote for us here on this show. We have a great show lined up for you tomorrow. I guarantee it. We've already recorded it. Joe, is this true?
That's the hard part for me because I'm for people making money, right? Like I don't not want people to reach their earnings potential, but I think we can all recognize that it's bad business.
You guys hear that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Somebody stealing your car or what?
Yeah, it might be time to go check the driveway. I don't know. So we're done here. We got a great show for tomorrow. You're going to make sure you check it out. Thanks as always for tuning in. Kyle Krabs, Joe Marino, Chris Schubert. Thanks as always for tuning in to the Draft Tuesday live stream. Cheers. We'll talk to you tomorrow on the show.